All right, Crystal Avalos. Court is calling 2019 CR 5823, State of Texas versus Crystal Avalos. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Brittany Sparks.
For the defense?
Andrew Fred.
And are you Crystal Avalos?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Crystal Lorena Avalos who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2019 CR 5823 for the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 less than 1 gram on October 10th, 2019 for a period of 2 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
State?
Yes, Judge. Violated condition number 7 on or about the 19th day of May 2021 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Crystal Lorena Avalos, departed Bexar County without the written permission of the court and or supervision officer in violation of condition number 7.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
Violated condition number 17 on or about the 4th day of May 2021 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Kristen Lorena Avalos, did then and there fail to report weekly in violation of condition number 17.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
And we're going to waive all of the violations.
No objections.
Ms. Avalos, did you understand by pleading true to violations 7 and 17, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine? Did you understand? I'm sorry. Yes, and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violations 7 and 17?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find 7 and 17 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Yes.
We're asking that you deny the MTR, continue her on probation, and alter and amend to add a TAP evaluation and weekly reporting and 0 tolerance. And I think it's for a 1-year extension, Judge.
That's correct.
All right. Are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You want to explain to the court why you haven't been reporting?
I had left Bexar County because I didn't have anywhere to stay, and I had spoke with my probation officer, and I asked her if I had to be homeless here, and she said yes. And then she said she was going to the attorneys.
So why didn't you tell anyone you had no place to stay?
I didn't know that I wasn't able to go back to my sisters when they told me.
I'm sorry, did I misunderstand? You said you did tell your probation officer you had no place to stay?
Yes, I told her I didn't have nowhere to stay.
And what was the response?
I said if she wanted me to be homeless or sleep on the street, and she said yes. And then there was nothing else.
So why didn't you go for Haven for Hope? All right, and then that still doesn't explain that I haven't seen you, or probation hasn't seen you since May of 2021. So where have you been?
I was living up there, and then I came back to San Antonio.
Why? You didn't have a place to stay?
I have a place now, and I have a job now.
My question is, you left San Antonio because you did not have a place to stay.
Right.
So why did you come back to San Antonio? Because I'm assuming you still would not have a place to stay.
No, ma'am, I do have a place to stay, which is why I came back to San Antonio.
How did you get a place to stay?
I stay with my boyfriend now.
Is this a new boyfriend?
Yes, ma'am.
So you met a new boyfriend while you were not in San Antonio?
No, I've known him. He's been my friend for a while.
So when did he become your boyfriend?
About a year ago.
Do you have children?
Yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
She's gonna be 17, 10, and 11.
And where are they?
They're with my sister. She has custody.
So Child Protective Services involved,
Yes, ma'am.
which means, have your parental rights been terminated, or are you still working on getting your children back?
I'm still working on getting them back.
And so your idea of getting your children back was to move in with this new boyfriend. Is that correct?
That's not my idea of getting my children back. No.
All right, do you understand that when Child Protective Services cases are open, the number one thing they always tell you is don't get involved with anyone else in a relationship because your children don't really know them. And so what your plan is, I'm assuming defense, is that she's hoping to get custody of her daughters back and then bring her daughters into a home with her boyfriend. Is that correct?
Judge, I think that in the short term, what we had discussed was she has a place to stay. She has a way to get to and from probation. She has a job that she's working at, and she's going to be sober. So that in itself is going to be on the right track. She cannot get her kids back until she's got her life settled, which again, being the first step would be to resolve these cases, get her probation on track, go forward with the TAP evaluation, zero tolerance. She has to do that first. At some point in the future, that's a different story, Judge. But right now, I think it's a short term versus a long term. So short term, what we talked about was getting these cases, continue probation, get her life back on track. Her sister has custody, so I'm not sure about the visitation schedule, but it's not like they're in some stranger's custody. It's her sister. So for right now, it's a short-term solution.
Well, I can tell you what I'm not going to allow, because I don't know what Child Protective Services is doing, but I do know what has happened, what usually happens when you have a boyfriend and you have teenage daughters or young daughters, and you're just bringing these daughters into the household. Because let me just tell you what you have to think about. I don't know anybody who wants to take on the care of someone else's children. I mean, sometimes there's the miracle person out there who's a great guy. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
But usually no one wants to do that, right?
Right.
Because it's extra, children are beautiful. I love children. I think they're great, but it's still baggage. And the fact that you're on probation, that's baggage. And that's baggage and suitcases that you're asking somebody else to carry. And at the airport, they don't have those push carts anymore. You have to carry that baggage yourself. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'm going to deny the motion. Going to alternate men conditions. And I had previously said that she had to have parenting classes, roars. She's supposed to be doing all of that. And she was supposed to be having proof of employment, alcohol testing. So that's all in her previous conditions. So we're going to still keep her previous conditions. And we're going to do the UA hotline. And there should be no unsupervised contact with minors. There should be CPS compliance. And with regards to the no unsupervised contact with minors, her boyfriend cannot be the chaperone. What's your boyfriend's name?
Lino.
Sorry, what?
Lino
Lino what?
Gutierrez.
All right. How do you spell that first name?
Lino.
Okay, Lino Gutierrez. So her boyfriend, Mr. Lino Gutierrez, is not allowed to be the chaperone. And I hope he knows with Child Protective Services, if you're planning on getting your children back, that means that he has to do the services as well. If he doesn't, you're not going to get your children back, potentially. All right, and then we can do a TAP evaluation and follow those recommendations. Extend for 1 year. And there's to be weekly reporting. Is there anything else from either side? State?
No, Judge.
Defense?
Nothing further on.
Probation? Is there anything else you need?
Your Honor, if we're extending her for 1 year from her expiration date, she expired in October, so that would only give her, October of this year.
All right, we're going to extend 2 years. And let me make sure. Yes, so we're going to extend 2 years. Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Issued for her arrest based upon this motion to revoke probation. And if you can get some information otherwise, tell me about her coming forward and appearing here, then we can recall it. But okay, then that's the orders of the court. Daryl Zinai. Daryl Zinai. Yes, Mr. Zinai was also here for a motion to revoke probation review. This was a motion that was filed last year, and it's all about money. Restitution, which is an enormous amount, but it's what it is. It has to get paid back, the loss. So where are we on that from the probation office?
Yes, sir, Your Honor, you ordered him to find secondary employment, but this time he hasn't found any. He had
Really?
applied with
You
Walmart.
can't find any employment?
No, not,
I'm sorry. Let me finish. You can't find any employment in this environment where people are really looking for jobs? Because there's so many jobs. I mean, people are coming across the border and getting the jobs. Well, what's wrong with you?
no, nothing.
I mean, they're coming from another country and getting the jobs. And you're here and you're not doing anything. But you owe something, and you're going to either put out an effort or your probation can be revoked, sir. You're on deferred probation, and this is a third-degree felony. You're looking at up to 10 years in prison, but I don't feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for the poor victim in this case.
Yes, sir.
Who is the SSI benefit, receiving Social Security benefits improperly? Yeah, it's all the people in the country who pay the taxes. They're the victims. But you're not going to skate through this. You're going to you're going to go to prison. When was the last time one thin dime was paid, or one penny?
The last payment was made September the 8th of this year, and it was a $500 payment.
Before that,
August 14th of this year, and it was $300.
before that, let me see what this year all about. Do you have like a?
Yes, sir, I've got
Okay,
the entire fee statement.
Okay, let me just see that since we were here last, which was. Okay, so, within this last year, there was a $500 payment in November a year ago, 500 in January, 500 in February. I mean, that was impressing me. That's good. Then it drops to 100 in April, 300 in May, then 200 in June and July, 300 in August, and then 500. You need to, the bar needs to be up at least 500. I know you've done this in the past.
Yeah.
And there's no reason, because 500, even though but it gets you, that's $6,000 a year, and that's still 9 years. But it's what it takes to pay the loss back. But you have to, I expect a minimum of $500, and that's an order. That's an amended order with probation. Okay. And of course, if somehow you go in the lottery or something, don't waste a lot of money on the lottery. Oh, I think that's, that's of course a long shot, but if you pay this back, and we're not, are we adding any costs?
No, sir.
Okay, everything's been frozen.
At this point, yes.
You get this restitution back, which I guess is about $50,000 then.
Right now, the amount due is $50,334.20 for restitution.
I mean, once that gets paid back, all things being the same, the case is dismissed. Dismissed. But you're flirting with, you don't get over the bar, your probation being revoked, then you're found guilty. Which really, I'm sorry, it really puts you in a box and trying to get your life straightened out, because Yeah, then it's harder to get hired that way. All right, I am amending this to at least $500 per month. Okay, please, jump over the bar on that. Okay. All right, anything else? Thank you for all your work over there from probation, and we'll see y'all in a review in 6 months. She'll get a review. And yes, sir. Oh,
Anything else, Judge?
we're in a short recess. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything that I'm out of it. If we do not, if you're under that, number one, and you have. Understand. The fact that my.
All right, Brenna, are you ready? Who are the parties on Armando De La Rosa?
There's a.
All right, and where's Armando De La Rosa? If you can come forward, please. The court is going to call 2022 CR 3521, State of Texas versus Armando De La Rosa. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Ryan Grimmer for the state of Texas.
for the defense?
You're not gonna for the defense, Judge.
And are you Mr. De La Rosa? All right, Mr. De La Rosa, you entered a plea to count one on May 9th. That was a plea of no contest. You applied for deferred adjudication. The court found there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The state waived count two in the repeater paragraph. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 10 years in the prison. The state opposes your application, and they are taking 2 cases into consideration. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report?
Yes, Judge. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, any objections to the PSI report from the state?
None from the state.
Defense, any objections to the PSI report?
Just one part, Judge, when we're talking about gang affiliation, I spoke with my client about it. They still have him with the Hermanos Pistoleros. He claims he has not been with that gang for quite some time, that he's been trying to get that, I guess, fixed over at the jail. They're still ranking him as that, but he's saying he is not associated. So other than that, that's it.
All right, state, do you have any witnesses?
We don't, Judge.
Defense, do you have any witnesses?
Just argument.
All right, then state you're opposed. The court will hear argument.
We are, Judge. Judge, I think in this particular case, my understanding is the plea agreement was for, we're asking for 10 years and he's applying for probation and we're opposed, correct, Judge?
Yes, he's applying for deferred adjudication and also community supervision, if not deferred adjudication.
Understood. Judge, I think the biggest thing is dating back to 1994, Mr. De La Rosa has he has 18 arrests resulting in 11 felony convictions. He's been placed on community supervision 5 times. He's been revoked 4 of those times. He's been in and out of prison, it looks like, for his entire adult life. This is a case where I think that he has been in the system for so long that I don't think he's a good candidate for probation. Other judges have taken chances on him on probation. And it seems as though every time he has been revoked for those probations. In addition, there is 3 cases he's here for, 3 felony cases. 2 of them are being TIC. He's received the benefit of the bargain in this particular case with us lowering his exposure to 10 years. We'd ask that you sentence him to 10 years and you deny his applications for probation or deferred.
All right, defense.
Judge, although there is no dispute that my client has a long criminal history, as you see in the PSI, he also had a very difficult childhood. Drugs seem to be the main problem here. He has come to terms with his addiction. He understands that he needs treatment. While he's been incarcerated, Judge, he has been very, very proactive, and not only Narcotics Anonymous, trying to get a referral for Haven for Hope, but he has a slew of, more certificates than I've ever seen any client hand me. I'm going to show them real quick to the state judge, because I'd like to offer them to the court for review.
The Gatorade never left the building.
And neither did person.
Okay.
Yes. All right, so these are not being offered into evidence, it's just for the court to review?
Correct, Judge.
We have no objection.
All right, just give me a moment to review these. Right. Thank you.
My client, prior to being incarcerated on this, also had a job at the Spin Express as a laundromat. He has expressed to me that I'm still waiting for him. If he were to get out, he's ready for treatment. And he understands that he's not going to get away from this lifestyle without treatment. I've expressed to him and gone through the Taffy Val saying that SATIF is what is being requested. He's asking for a chance to go through lifetime judge, but understands that if he needs to do SATIF, that is what needs to happen. And he also wanted to address.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. Could you state your name for the record? All right, what would you like to say to the court?
I know that my history is very, very long. I've been addicted to drugs since I was 10 years old now. I've been fighting my addiction for a long time due to my experience I had when I was little and being sexually assaulted. I have no excuse for myself. I have no excuse for anything I've done. But I do ask for forgiveness, for leniency in this chance because I'm going to recovery and I've seen all this. I can do something better with myself now.
Okay, let me ask you a few questions. All right, now mind you, your criminal history is sort of like a credit report. And in credit reports, people look at your credit reports to see if they can loan you money. So people look at your criminal history to see if you would be a good candidate for probation. Now, mind you, I don't put any weight to any cases that were dismissed because there's dismissed. I wasn't there. I don't know why they were dismissed. It doesn't say why they were dismissed other than guilty of a different charge. All right. So I see in 1995, you had an evading detention. You were sentenced to 6 months. What did you learn from 1995 in that evading detention and being in custody? Well, let's not go there and blaming other people.
No, I'm saying that I just have more ideas from not understanding myself. I was still angry with myself. I had no recovery.
All right. Then we have an evading detention or arrest from 2011. What did you learn? You were placed on probation. They gave you probation for 1 year. And probation is designed, hopefully, to rehabilitate. So I'm assuming you were drug tested. And if you were going to be positive, you were positive. If you needed help for that, they gave you help for that by saying, hey, do you want to do the DOEP course? Or do you want to do, inpatient treatment, outpatient treatment? So what did you learn from 2011?
I didn't report.
All right. So someone was trying to help you and you chose not to report. All right. In that same time, we had a criminal trespass to private property. So those are your misdemeanors, right? Now let's go to felony. And this was before my time. 1994, you were placed on probation. A motion to revoke was filed. So I don't have that before me. So I don't know what they were alleging in that motion to revoke. But the motion was withdrawn and continued on probation, which tells me, and this is me making an assumption, usually when a motion is withdrawn, either they've said hey, we just want you to do A, B, and C, and we'll withdraw the motion, and you agreed to it. But you didn't, because then in December, they filed a motion to revoke your probation and you were sentenced to state jail time. So what did you learn from that encounter?
I didn't do anything under my conduct.
Right. And then we also have the burglary of the habitation. You were placed on probation for that. It was revoked. Then we move on to November 94. Theft 1,500 to 20,000, motion revoked. What did you learn from that? Then we have 1995, an unauthorized use of a vehicle. You're placed on probation. It was revoked. What did you learn? What did you learn from being at the state jail facility? Then we have 1998. You're given state jail time on that. And then we have April. So I'm assuming this possession less than a gram for February 1998. You were sentenced to state jail time. You were given credit for that. You get out, and then in April 1998, you have a burglary of a habitation, and you're sentenced to 5 years. What did you learn in 1998? Then we have July 2006, burglary of a building theft. You were sentenced to 2 years in the state jail facility. What did you learn? Then we have 2011, a second evading arrest detention, where you were sentenced and then you were paroled. And this is what I know about parole from my experience and representing people on parole. They do give you courses, whatever you need. If you need drug rehabilitation, they give that to you. They come out and visit you. They check on you. So what did you learn from being arrested, going into prison, being released, and being on parole? All right. So that's in January 2011. Then we have November 2011. And that's evading arrest detention. Then we come to 2015. 2015, you have another theft under $1,500 enhanced. You were given probation for 3 years. And then a motion to revoke was filed. Did you learn anything? And then these other cases were taken in consideration. And now we're here in 2022. And you have possession with intent to deliver controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4,200 grams. The state is proceeding on count 1. And that count 1, I believe, is the first degree. Is that correct?
It is, Judge.
All right. So I've read the stipulated evidence in that. And in that, you had digital scales. So what were you doing with digital scales?
I'm an addict now. I don't do some of those now.
Did you need?
They arrested me, you're gonna have a history.
Let me ask you this. What are digital scales for? Were you weighing out your food? What were you doing with the digital scales? Because what I know from my experience and being in treatment courts and representing people who have drug issues, they don't need to weigh out their drugs before they take them. So what were you doing with digital scales?
This is what the girl that we're looking for when I was picked up. We're looking for her in the farm with us. She left me the backpack.
She left you the backpack and she left you digital scales? And she left you digital scales. That's what you're talking about.
And I'm trying to, when we put them in the, I put them in the trunk now. And that's exactly what happened.
You put digital scales in the trunk?
Yeah, because I didn't want to, they're not mine. So I was
Okay.
getting rid of them out of my motel room because I was trying to go leave.
All right. Any questions, defense?
No questions, Judge.
State, any questions?
No, Judge.
Just a little argument.
All right, the court will hear argument. I've heard the argument from the state. What is your argument?
Judge, and I know we've just gone through extensively his criminal history. A lot of these cases were sentenced at the same time. I expect what happened was he was potentially on probation, maybe picked up other charges, and they were all consolidated together. Sometimes it takes an individual hitting rock bottom before they start to try to claw their way back up, Judge. I would just point again to my client's actions while he's been in custody. He didn't just sit there feeling sorry for himself. He has started to try to get treatment to counteract the effect that amphetamine is having in his life. He is ready to do treatment, Judge. This honorable court blesses him with probation. He'd be ready to go straight, let's stay in custody and go straight to SADF, Judge. I believe that only through treatment will we break this cycle of him being recharged and
All right. Mr. De La Rosa, I'm not going to grant you deferred adjudication. I'm going to find you guilty. They do have a therapeutic community at the prison. What I can tell you is therapeutic community will not extend your time at the prison. If I were to sentence you to 10 years, you're not going to be extended more than 10 years because you decided to be in therapeutic community. I have no authority to force them to place you in the therapeutic community, so you'll have to ask for it. You understand? So would you like to be placed in the therapeutic community? All right. So I'm going to find you guilty, sentence you to a $1,500 fine, time and money to run concurrent, taking consideration 2022 CR 2011 and 2022 CR 2012. I'm going to ask that you be placed in the therapeutic community. Would either party like to argue with regards to, well, I guess the agreement was for 10 years. All right. And I'll send you to 10 years in the prison and give you credit for any time served. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? And because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you, Mr. De La Rosa. And State, do you have those dismissals? Thank you. Who's here on Jayden Green? Right here, Your Honor. Why were you late? I can't understand a word you're saying. Speak up.
A little bit of construction going on,
And where was this construction going on?
coming from all the way to Common, northeast side, all along the way.
So here's the thing, you need to budget in your time for construction. Everybody knows there's construction downtown. Everybody knows there's construction throughout the city. When you're supposed to be in court at 9 a.m., you're supposed to be in court at 9 a.m. Do you understand? All right, where are we on this case?
Your Honor, I conferred with the family violence case, and I need to consent with Marcus for the robbery. I need to confer with Marcus on the robbery case.
Okay, all right, just confer, but this is, I saw that show that this was set for trial
Yes, ma'am.
on June 21st.
That was, I believe, our first.
All right, so we're gonna be going to trial if nothing's worked out.
Thank you. Thank you.